essentially, the game is called "Is he out of position?" And it essentially means that I'm going to throw out some players that, they play a certain role at the moment, but do their skill sets fit another position should they look into playing that more long term in regards to having a better career, playing longer, just overall, just shooting the business. Do you know what I mean?
I hear what you mean. I hear what
Yeah,
you
and
mean.
you do it
I
for
hear
me,
what you
and you
mean.
do it for the people.
Let's do. I'm actually intrigued with this one. Let's do it.
Go ahead. So like you should get this off the rip. It's not too difficult. All you have to do is actually, think about the player, what they do at the moment, think about the position that they play, and can they do it in another position? And I'm gonna start with LaMelo Ball. Point guard, of course, and we know his the ball handling ability, the shooting ability, the passing ability, and I'm not doubting it. I'm not doubting it. However,
Mm.
we do see how heavy the turnovers can be. We see how much pressure it puts on his body, having to carry the Charlotte Hornets essentially year in, year out in regards to having all the playmaking responsibility. Should he move to shooting guard, where he could share a little bit of the responsibility, where he doesn't have to be so pressured to making every decision every single time, having the ball in his hands all the time, and he can share it with somebody else? That's all I'm saying. And maybe he can even shoot the ball a little bit more.
I'm not mad at that shout. Lamella shooting guard. I'm not mad at that shout because he's one person that the Hornets they've relied on heavily to try and change the culture there. Do you know what I mean? To try and make him more of like a serious outfit. To try and make him more of a tough team to play against. But it just hasn't been that way. Do you know what I mean? And his game just seems very freely, almost like social media TikTok type of baller is how I always see him. Until he proves me wrong, that's how I see him. So to negate a bit of the responsibility in terms of playmaking, yeah, shift him over to shooting guard. Do you know what I mean? I'm not mad at that shout at all.
I like to think that would be a successful move in regards to get more of a steady Eddie in regards to if it's going to be in Charlotte at least,
Yeah.
someone who's just going to set the table for people like him, people like Brandon Miller, people like the shooters that they have on their roster, and let's see what
Knoppel as well. They got him there.
you see. Let's see what could happen if somebody a little bit more steady, a little bit more not predictable in a say, but not as unpredictable as Lamella Ball can be. Just get someone a little bit more steady in, and you never know. Charlotte could be something if that was the case. Will they do it? I don't know, but
There aren't too many of those type of point guards about though. Every team needs one of those, but there aren't too many of them about.
do you
You
know what
know?
I mean? Do you know what I mean? Somebody like I know he's injured now, but like a Fred VanVleet on this team could be, decent in regards to helping them hit the play in, which is more than what has been happening in Charlotte. Way more
Facts.
happening, and that's what they'll need to hopefully kickstart things. Lamelo at point guard, as I've said, it's a very much make or break year for him and the Hornets. Moving him to shooting guard will put a lot less pressure on his play, at least in my eyes.
Yeah, no, I agree. I'm with you.
Carl Anthony Towns, because he's in New York now and he's not playing with Rudy, he has to play center. He's got to. But we saw what it was in Minnesota for 1 year. They made the Western Conference Finals with him at power forward. Stateside Humph. Do they need to look into potentially? I don't know if it's traded for a defensive big. I don't know if it's moving Mitchell Robertson into the starting lineup full time. But should Carl Anthony Towns make a full time switch to power forward?
100%. He 100% needs to make a full time switch to power forward. Defensively, you can tell he does lack a lot. Very slow feet. Yeah, I mean, not really the best shot blocker. Not really, I mean, he is a pretty good rebounder, to be fair. But outside of that, you see the Knicks play some of their best basketball. Carl Anthony Towns plays a lot of his best basketball when he's got a legitimate center, a legitimate number five next to him. Every time they play those lineups with him and Mitchell Robinson at the five, the Knicks look more formidable. Do you know what I mean? They grab a lot more rebounds. Carl Anthony Towns can almost shepherd the player over to the shot blocking five, the shot blocking big. I don't want Cat being the lone five. That means your team's cooked. I mean, the foundation of your defense is Carl Anthony Towns. Say goodbye, man. That's not a good. That's a recipe for disaster, basically.
Fair
So
enough.
yeah, get Cat to the fort, man.
I've always been I've always not been a fan of not having a good defensive five and you trying to
Yeah.
compete for anything because your center is the most important player on the court in regards to defense. He's the closest player to the rim more time than not. He's the person that you're asking to protect the rim more time than not. You can't be having someone like Carl Anthony Towns being the center if you want to win. Because as we've proven, as of right now, yeah, it could get you to, the conference finals. That's probably it though. If you're trying to actually win, you might have to think about something else. So a full-time switch to power forward, I'm not mad. You know.
If you want to play small ball lineup and chuck Cat at the 5 in certain
Oh
possessions,
no!
I'm
In
not mad at that.
situations like you want to play five out, or if you want to, have an offensive lineup, yeah, no problem. But full time, Jokic and Embiid and them man.
No,
I don't know, brother.
no.
I don't know.
That's exactly why AD didn't want to play the 5. Do you know what I
Right.
mean?
He's
And you
somebody
can see
that
how great of a defender he is as well.
you see, and he's actually not on this list. He's a great person that even could be here in regards to should he be a center full time. Does he want to be a
Nice.
center full time? No, but probably should. In regards to some of the players that we have on the list, we still got a few more. Stay Southampton. I feel like you're enjoying this, which is good.
Let's go. I'm in it.
Yeah, this is one of my brain children, and I'm happy I like this one. I do.
Yeah.
Devin Booker. Now, I don't know what position he's been playing over the last few years because they've brought in point guards, but he's handled the ball the most on the Phoenix Suns for the last number of years, essentially since he's been in the league, to be fair. And with the Jalen Green now coming in, it looks like he's going to be a Phoenix Sun for the foreseeable future. Steve Nash, we talked about Steve Nash coming in and being a little bit of a mentor in regards to what D-Book and Jalen Green is. And if I had to pick a position for him to be full-time, at least in regards to coming into this season, stateside Humph, surely point guard is the future for Devin Booker and the Phoenix Suns. Because are you putting the ball in Jalen Green's hands to be the primary decision maker? You're a better man than me if you are.
Yeah, to be fair, Devin Booker, every time he plays at the point guard, he looks comfortable. Do you know what I mean? His playmaking wise, he is very good. That is one of his best attributes. Do you know what I mean? I'd say having all these scorers in your, bringing in Dylan Brooks, Jalen Green, as you mentioned there as well, who's you can score a lot in a bunch to settle the team down, to set the table and to score as well. Devin Booker does have all of that in us, Arsenal. So yeah, why not? Why not put him? I mean, like you said, even if he's not playing as a quote unquote point guard, his game, the way he plays his game, it kind of dictates that he is the main ball handler. He does set the table. He does generate a lot of offense for the team. So I don't mind that. I'm not mad at that shout whatsoever. The Suns have struggled a lot, like you said, to try and get a table setter, which we're saying you don't have too many of those in the league, especially someone that can table set and that can score as well. Because really and truly, all of these they're all combo guards. Do you know what I mean? They're not just like a quote unquote like a John Stockton or what's his name, Jason Kidd. You know what I mean? You class Dame as a point guard, you class Kyrie as a point guard, Steph as a point guard. These lot are legitimate bucket getters. So
Mm.
if you're putting Devin Booker, who's what 6'4", 6'5", that's a big guard. Do you know what I mean? Hey, put him there. Put him as a point guard.
For playing devil's advocate, you saw what he was in regards to Team USA, in regards to being a little bit, or at least leaning a little bit into more of a 3-and-D kind of,
Uh-huh.
let's say specialist for lack of better words.
Mhm.
If he was to move into being like a just traditional wing, scoring wing, of course, you still need to put the ball in his hands and he still needs to average a lot of points, or at least attempt a lot of shots. But if he had to move off the ball, they put somebody in his place, somebody, hopefully not Jalen Green, but somebody else as a point guard, and he played a little bit more off the ball, would you be upset?
I wouldn't be upset, but that's what I'm trying to say. Book has a lot of he has a lot of tools in his box. You know what I mean? So whether he's playing on the ball, off the ball, do you know what I mean? He's a very very good basketball player, which obviously goes without saying. So he can play any position that you want him to play, well, from 1 to 3. So, but with what the Suns have or don't have, I don't mind if you put him at the 1. If he's the point guard, if he is the um um what's the term, the primary
Primary decision
ball.
maker, primary ball handler.
That's the one. That's the one. Yeah, I'm not mad at him at the 1 at all.
Austin Reeves. Now he is a starter for the Los Angeles Lakers. Of course, he's flirted between playing point guard, playing shooting guard, whatever the team needs, really and truly. And it's the reason why the Lakers fans like him so much because he can kind of flirt in between, play off LeBron, Luca very well. But stateside Hamph, for the benefit of the Los Angeles Lakers and especially the benefit of their defensive issues, Luka Doncic, not the greatest. DeAndre Ayton, wishy-washy. Rui Hachimura seems like he's going to be the best perimeter defender, depending on how you feel about LeBron James on the day.
No, but they got Marcus Smart.
So this is what I'm saying. Should Austin Reeves be the sixth man for the Los Angeles Lakers? Come out the starting lineup. Let's chuck in some defense. Because we can't play all of you lot, unfortunately. Someone's going to have to sit on the bench and be the sixth man. Should it be Austin Reeves?
I'm not mad at it, like a Lou Wills type of situation, kind of vibe sort of thing going on. Because you're coming off the bench, but you're playing starter minutes anyway. Do you know what I mean?
When you
And
finish the game.
exactly, and when obviously when you come onto the floor, you're playing a lot of your minutes with the backups. Do you know what I mean? When they get the ball, they're looking for you. Do you know what I mean? They're looking for AR-15, as they call it. I don't know what he's done. I don't know what he's won in the league, but I mean, I guess we call him AR-15. We're giving nicknames to just anyone.
It's a nice little nickname,
You
man.
know what I mean?
You can have it.
That's what I'm trying to say. But to be fair, I'm not mad at that shout whatsoever, because LeBron's gonna have a lot of the ball. Luka's gonna have a lot of the ball. I know LeBron was trying to make a conscious effort to try and play off the ball, but in his makeup, his actual game is to be on the ball. Do you know what I mean? And he will have a fair share of that. Luka will definitely have a fair share of his usage, but with can't get AR-15 out of my head. Reeves, bringing him off the bench, him actually getting the ball in his hands once Luka goes onto the bench is perfect. It's a perfect rotation, I think. There's actually something that it just kind of turned the light bulb in my head. So I like that shout a lot.
I'm just saying, like, there's people like let's see what Gabe Vincent, that people were lauding his defense in regards to last year when he had to play minutes for the Lakers. What does Dalton Connect give you? What does Jared Vanderbilt give you? Especially, he's a great defender when he's been asked and when he's been healthy, of course. And I like to think that if they need to have a little bit more defense into. Add a little bit more defense into their lineup. Let's get Austin Reeves out of there. Let's get him out of there. But, we obviously float him in whenever we need to. He's a reliable option to go to when we need to score the ball. And of course, he can always close the games. There's no reason why you don't. If you don't start, there's no reason why you can't close the game.
Facts.
Couple more stateside humph. Amen Thompson. Now, there's point guard issues at the Houston Rockets. And hear me out, stateside humph. I understand what the jump shot is. I understand that the ball handle, it could use a little bit of work. But he's worked hard in the off-season. I've seen some videos, and I like to think he's going to take some development. Some people have pinched that he could potentially be an all-star, if not this season, in the near future. Could you see a future for Amen Thompson as a point guard for the Houston Rockets? Full time?
No. Full time? Nah. I see Amen Thompson more of an off-ball player. You know what I mean? Kind of staying in the dunker spot. You know what I mean? Getting loose balls, dunking at home, cleaning up the glass, kicking it out for open shooters. I don't see him as a primary ball handler. He's a good ball handler, but for a team like the Rockets that are trying to aspire to win the championship or get close into the postseason or deep in the postseason, I can't have Amen Thompson as my primary ball handler. No way. That's a turnover waiting to happen. That's a walk-in turnover. I can't. Nah.
You don't. You're seeing it from the offensive side, of course, because naturally the jump shot, no matter how hard he works on it, will always be an issue for him. I feel like you don't think defensively he could still be an issue in regards to the size at the point guard position. They like to flirt a little bit of zone. Him at the top of the zone could be a nightmare. Him anywhere on the court, to be honest with you, when he's locked in, is an issue for a lot of opposing offenses. So you don't even think that it has a lot of defensive upside with him putting him, at the one, stifling a lot of ball handlers in the league.
I mean, naturally, he's gonna have that assignment anyway. Do you know what I mean? He's gonna guard the best players, and most of them tend to be ones and twos. So as a ball handler, no, but as obviously a primary defensive stopper of the other team, that's what he's tasked with anyway.
Yeah.
But I just want him slowly to just establish his way of playing off the ball, and then you just naturally, gradually get him on the ball, deep in the season. A set couple games, you play him as the primary, ball handler, the number one. Let him, because to be fair, that's what we've done with Case and Wallace. We don't know if Case and Wallace because he came into the league just a defender. Do you know what I mean? Just catch up wide open shots and try and knock him down.
Yeah.
But then I saw for like a month or two, we were putting him as the ball handler. Do you know what I mean? He was generating some of our offense. I was like, wait, what's actually going on here? But it was actually working. Do you know what I mean? So then when it comes into the playoffs and when it comes into the finals or whatever situation, you'll find yourself in situations where you need to generate offense. KD is being double teamed every time he gets the ball, so you have to have the ball. So I'm not completely writing it off, but
Fair
for now
enough.
anyway.
Yeah, fair enough. Fair enough. In a few years, you never know. We might be having a conversation of Ben Thompson, the point guard. It could be a real thing.
I'm actually gonna have to watch a couple of his games or a couple of his highlights just to see what if he's actually good with the ball in his hands like that.
It'll be similar if when you do, it'll be similar to when when Giannis was going through an awkward stage of his development where it's like you could see they're working on his playmaking, the playmaking aspect of his game.
Yeah.
They just flat out put him with Jason Kidd at the time. He just flat out say you're the point guard, you just go do it.
Mhm.
I could see situations in the regular season, especially if injuries just start to be a thing that happen for
Mhm.
it's that AMN. Just go there, let's see what you got, man.
Facts.
I could see it. It might look awkward, but it could be effective. You never know. Last one is Jordan Poole. Now, it looks like this is the road that he's going to be. But if I could paint the picture for you, in Washington, but decision maker, primary ball handler, definitely. Was it working? Absolutely not. They weren't winning games. A lot of pressure on his plate as well. Every dribble, if you were a Jordan Poole guy, was micromanaged just because of what the situation was in regards to Golden State. People thought he was going to be this great player when he went to Washington. A lot of high expectation. It didn't happen. And now he's in a New Orleans situation where, people are actually quite excited in regards to some of the rookies that they have, some of the young players. Obviously, a healthy Zion is going to help them. DeJounte Murray is going to come back. And DeJounte Murray is going to be the point guard for the team,
Mhm.
I'd like to think, which is great. It's fantastic for them. He's probably the best point guard that they have on the roster. It means Jordan Poole, at least full-time point guard, don't see it. However, full-time, shooting guard, stateside humph. Are you hearing it?
I am hearing it. I am. I've
So what happened to the successor of the Steph Curry, point guard, Jordan Poole? What's going on there?
see now. I know. I mentioned earlier on last season that players like your Jordan Pools, players like your Kyle Kuzmas, I don't like him at all. Ben Simmons, they almost play like they don't care about the game. Do you know what I mean? Jordan Poole, obviously, I don't know if it's like attitude problems or whatever it was for his jaw to meet Draymond's fist or whatever. But then obviously he goes to Washington. He tries to, I guess, establish his game, get to learn his game, make mistakes. But the mistakes he was making is like, oh, this guy's taking a piss. But now obviously when you come to a situation like New Orleans, who are desperate to try and set a culture, their best players now in great shape. They want to attack this West and try and get into the playoffs. Zion has been in the league for what 7 years now, has not made the playoffs for whatever reason. You're coming in there as well. They need you to pull your weight. They need you to make shots. They need you to defend and play make as well, which he's got the qualities to do all of that. I mean, Jordan Poole's got all the qualities to do that. But you saying what to put him as shooting guard?
Put him as shooting guard. I'm even thinking about it now. I'm not even mad at putting him, similar to an Austin Reeves sense. We know you can start if we need to, but off the bench, six man, I don't, I'm
Yeah.
not angry. But for argument's sake, let's say shooting guard, starting shooting guard, full time.
Yeah. I don't mind it. I don't mind it because you, yeah, because you kind of take a bit away of his playmaking responsibilities, which he is a bit wishy-washy with that. You know what I mean, I don't trust that too much, but with the value that he brings, he'd definitely be a great value to this Pelicans team. If you pay him at what, the two, the three, I'm not mad at that. I'm not mad at that. It takes a lot of responsibility to play the point guard position,
It does.
and I don't know if he has the maturity in his game to play that position at the level that the Pelicans need him to play.
Yeah, which is okay, by the way. Some of the best players have, come off the bench, not having the most, let's say, mature games. Like I can imagine,
Yeah.
like Jamal Crawford, for example, his game was. I'm not knocking his game whatsoever. It was excellent. It was fun to watch. But in regards to, being a starter and playing effective basketball, maybe not. And now because of that, he's one of the best six men to ever do it. Greg Popovich famously always lamented Manu Ginobili, saying, "What the hell are you doing?" Sometimes, you're doing all these crazy passes, you're doing all these crazy dribble moves, you're not really playing the way that we want you to do. But don't really want to change who you are. So let's put you on the bench, let's make you six man, and let's see what happens. And it worked. So somebody like a Jordan Poole is not necessarily a knock that your game's not maturing fast enough. It could be
Mm.
just a sense of let's just find ways to try and, make it so beneficial for us that it doesn't even matter. Maybe that's starting at shooting guard. Maybe that's first man off the bench. Let's see.
But then again, I feel like sometimes like the system as well helps with that. It helps you to be a little more free, to play with a lot more freedom, to, like you said, just be yourself, play your game. But with the Pelicans, I don't know if they have a solid enough structure to afford for someone like Jordan Poole to just be yourself. Do you know what I mean? I think they might have to have him rein himself in a bit. Do you know what
Mm,
I mean?
mm,
Just to have a mature approach to the game
yeah.
because they need that. Do you know what I mean? The Pelicans are desperate for some sort of recognition, some sort of success. So I like Jordan Poole's game. When obviously when he's on it. So we'll see what happens this season. But playing him at shooting guard, not mad at that shout.